Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're totally flipping the script on how you look at yourself, your body, and your daily routine. Our goal here is to build a really wholesome, complete understanding of this topic. We're unpacking a crash course that, honestly, just completely dismantles all that guilt, the immense pressure, and the sheer confusion we all feel around health and wellness. Because, let's be real, trying to stay healthy today, it can be absolutely exhausting. You're constantly bombarded with these messages about, 5 a.m. boot camps, super restrictive diets, endless productivity hacks, and then when you inevitably fall short, you just end up feeling like a failure. Well, if you've ever felt like staying healthy is just this massive chore you can't keep up with, you're definitely not alone. And more importantly, you're about to see exactly why it is absolutely not your fault.
So why does getting healthy so often feel like this impossible moral test? Seriously, think about the narrative society is constantly pushing on us. We're told that if you're struggling with your health, or you're always tired, or you just can't stick to a routine, well, you simply lack discipline, right? The story is that you're just lazy and you just need a little more willpower to push through the pain. But the source material we're diving into today, it completely shatters that illusion. It argues that this whole concept of willpower is really just a surface-level story. It's a myth, and it completely misses the point of how our biology and our bodies actually work.
See, the surface story says you lack discipline. But the real reason? Your health is an interconnected system. The text uses this fantastic, super relatable analogy of a household water system in Yarra. Imagine your house relies on one main water line. If the water pressure drops, or maybe the main pipe gets clogged up with sediment, the problem doesn't just stay isolated to the kitchen sink. No, the shower trickles, the garden hose runs dry, the washing machine completely stops. You notice the failure everywhere water is needed. Well, your health works exactly the same way. If you sleep poorly for a week, you don't just feel tired. It systematically degrades your energy, your appetite, your mood, and your ability to focus at work, all at once. So that visible problem you're judging yourself for, like losing focus at your desk, is rarely the root cause. It's literally just the sink running dry.
This means that health isn't just one giant monolithic block. It's built of these distinct, deeply interconnected layers. We're talking physical, mental, social, lifestyle, and long-term resilience. Now, you might call these layers different things, but they are absolutely not independent of each other. Let's look at the rapid-fire domino effect of how these layers actually interact in real life. Let's say you hit a bottleneck in your lifestyle layer. Maybe you have a crazy, chaotic morning and you skip lunch. Okay, so that physical deficit immediately interacts with your mental layer, giving you severe brain fog and irritability by, say, 3 p.m. And then that mental strain spills right over into your social connections, causing you to maybe snap at a coworker or your spouse. It's all one living, breathing system that is constantly negotiating biological trade-offs based on whatever resources it has left.
An absolutely crucial part of building this wholesome understanding of your body is recognizing the huge difference between health and disease. They get confused dangerously often. Disease is a specific problem. It's a localized malfunction. Health, on the flip side, is the overall condition of the whole system. You can have 0 diagnosed diseases and still be functioning terribly, exhausted, chronically stressed, surviving purely on iced coffee. The course compares this state to an old room fan. The fan might still spin when you turn it on, just like you might still be dragging yourself to work every single day. But if that fan is violently rattling, if the motor literally smells like burning dust and the wiring is all frayed, well, the overall condition of that setup is terrible. Sure, it's functioning, but it's constantly on the verge of a catastrophic breakdown. True health is not just the absence of a doctor's diagnosis, and it's definitely not just a feeling of temporary comfort.
Which leads us to a much better, significantly more empowering definition. Health is your body and mind's ability to function, recover, and adapt over time. Notice how dynamic that is. It's not this fixed state you just permanently lock in. Think of it kind of like a bicycle. A bike isn't healthy just because it looks shiny and perfect sitting untouched in your garage. Its true condition is only really revealed when you take it out on a rocky, pothole-filled road. Can the frame actually absorb the shock? Does the chain hold up? A healthy system is all about performance and resilience over time. It's asking yourself, can I function under stress today, recover my energy tonight, and adapt to a totally new challenge tomorrow?
So if health is the overall condition of that system, wellness is the pattern of choices that helps maintain it. Think of wellness like maintaining a really complex motorcycle. You don't keep a bike running smoothly by completely ignoring it for a year, waiting until the engine literally catches fire, and then doing one dramatic, heroic 3-day repair job, right? But ironically, that is exactly what we do with our bodies when we try to fix months of burnout with some drastic 3-day juice cleanse. Real wellness is done through repeated, consistent maintenance. It's checking the oil, fueling it properly, monitoring the tire pressure on a random Tuesday morning. Wellness is the practical bridge that connects your abstract desire to be healthy straight down to your actual biological reality.
And how exactly do we maintain that consistent pattern without burning out? Well, we automate it through habits. Here's the secret. Decision fatigue is the absolute enemy of wellness. Making a brand new conscious choice every single hour about what to eat, when to move, when to sleep, it just requires way too much mental energy. The brain loves efficiency, so it builds automated shortcuts using the habit loop. It goes cue, action, and reward. The cue triggers the behavior. The action is the behavior itself. And the reward is that feeling of relief or benefit that hardwires the loop right into your brain. A really good wellness habit acts like a well-placed road sign on your daily commute. You don't need to pull over and stare at a map every single time you hit an intersection because the path is already perfectly clear.
Now here is where so many highly driven people get completely tripped up. We so often confuse wellness with endless productivity. We just push ourselves harder and harder until we break. But we really need to understand the vital distinction between effort and strain. Effort is what builds strength, like lifting a heavy weight or deeply focusing to solve a complex problem at work. That's good. But strain? Strain is effort without recovery, and that will break the system. Your body operates very much like a bank account managing biological trade-offs. You simply cannot spend from every single account at once. You can't try to hit a new personal record at the gym while running on 4 hours of sleep, while managing a high-stakes crisis at work, and just expect the system not to overdraft. Wellness habits are what keep effort useful. They protect your biology from slipping into damaging, system-breaking strain.
So what does this systemic approach actually look like in practice? Let's ground this in a realistic context. Think about someone navigating a demanding life in Pakistan, right? Long commutes, intense workdays, heavy family obligations. You do not need a perfectly aesthetic 2-hour morning routine to be well. Deeply protective habits actually rely on environmental design and what we can call boring consistency. It's drinking a fixed glass of water right after waking up to rehydrate the system. It's having a totally predictable first meal on chaotic days so you don't suffer a massive blood sugar crash at 2 p.m. It's a short 10-minute walk before dinner just to shift gears. It's dimming your phone screen an hour before sleep. These actions aren't flashy. They don't require monumental willpower. But by designing your environment to make these defaults incredibly easy, you send a super powerful signal to your biology. You're telling it, there is stability here. And systemic stability matters infinitely more than occasional perfection.
Let's pull all of these concepts together into one really powerful synthesized mental model. There's a quote from our source text that just perfectly captures this whole thing. Health is the system. Wellness is the pattern. Habit is the mechanism. Once you truly internalize this framework, I'm telling you, everything changes. You are no longer someone desperately chasing random, disconnected health tips on the internet, hoping some new supplement magically fixes your exhaustion. No, you've transformed into a systems thinker. You now have the actual tools to diagnose the shape of the problem. When you feel completely drained, you don't aggressively blame your lack of discipline anymore. Instead, you look at the system as a whole. You audit your patterns, you closely examine those daily mechanisms you've allowed to run on autopilot.
So I want to leave you with a genuine challenge today. Take a really hard look at your own life right now. Ask yourself, what loop is your body already learning? What defaults are currently shaping your days? Remember, your biology is constantly learning patterns. It doesn't just learn from one-off events. Are the invisible patterns of your daily life actively helping your system recover and adapt to stress, or are they quietly draining your accounts dry? Take a step back, look at your environment, tweak those small, boring defaults, and start building a system that actually works for you, rather than against you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.